it's Carly Kloss. I'll be teaching coding this week on Celebrity Substitute.
Want to make a computer do anything you want? It doesn't take a PhD. In fact, it's a lot easier than you think. I'm Tara Tran, and I teach computer science in New York City. Today, we'll be learning about the basics of code, which is essentially the language of computers. Thankfully, I won't be teaching this class alone. Joining me is a very special celebrity substitute, Carly Kloss.
Hi, Tara.
Carly! Hi! It's so great to see you. I miss seeing you in the office so much. Hey, Carly, what was your inspiration for starting Code with Klossy?
Well, Tara, you're such a big part of Code with Klossy now, but it started really 5 years ago just as an idea of wanting to help create opportunities for more young women to have access to learn how to code. A couple of years ago, I knew next to nothing about coding. I spent a lot of time using apps, but I wanted to know how they really work. What goes on behind the app? So I took a coding class and I loved it. And the more I learned about it, the more I saw how it applied to my everyday life.
Language is at the root of everything that computer science is.
And the language that you use needs to be tailored to your audience.
Sometimes I get messages from my students that are in the Gen Z slang that I just don't understand.
Same here. But a lot of the time you can still figure out what someone's implying. Like the first time that I had a friend say something like, "Wasn't Emily so extra last night?" Well, if I was there and I saw how she was acting, and I already know that extra implies an excess of something, it's not hard to figure out that extra means she was being over the top. I can make assumptions because I'm human, and I bring a lifetime's worth of experience to interpreting words. When we're working with computers, though, we'll run into a lot of problems if we assume that they can interpret things the way that we do. There's a term related to this in AI research called Moravec's paradox, which basically says that a lot of things that come naturally to humans are incredibly hard to program computers to do. And a lot of things that we find almost impossible are actually easier for computers to handle. For instance, we created a computer that was better at chess than any person in history before we were able to figure out how to build a robot that was better at walking than the average toddler. Let's keep that in mind as we get back to how coding can apply to our everyday lives.
Carly, I have a surprise for you. I have a student from Code with Klossy who also used the power of coding to simplify something in their everyday life, and they have no idea that you're doing this lesson with me.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Ami, I know you think that you're here for an online lesson with me, and you are, and we're so excited, but actually I won't be teaching this lesson alone, so I want to introduce you to our celebrity substitute, Carly Kloss.
Hi, Ami. Thank you for joining us for this lesson.
Thank you so much for having me.
I hear you've been up to a lot of things with your new coding superpowers.
I think the biggest thing that I've taken away from Code with Klossy is a club that I made at my school. I was super inspired by the environment that you fostered at all the camps across the country, and I was like, I want a space like this at my school.
Do you find that it's actually more creative than you thought it would be before you learned how to code?
Oh my God. Literally, I think coding is one of the most creative things you can do, because at the end of the day, you're like making something.
Yeah, I know we're on opposite coasts, but I can feel your energy all the way over here on the East Coast, and I'm just sending you love and just so appreciative that you're a part of our Code with Klossy community.
Thank you so much for creating a space for women to just feel amazing about themselves and having great snacks. I have to say, the snack. Oh my gosh, 10 out of 10.
Ami, it's so good to see your face. I'm sending you so much love, and I hope you enjoy our lesson. I've found myself spending a lot of time in my kitchen lately, and while cooking is one of my favorite hobbies, sometimes I just don't have the energy to do it. What if there were a way to automate a recipe using the principles of coding?
A recipe is a kind of code, except it's a program designed to be run by humans. If you want it to be run by a computer, you'll have to write it differently. And no one wants to do unnecessary work. Laziness is one of the main virtues of a great programmer.
So let's say we wanted to get a machine to make food for us. We'd have to give the instructions for one of our recipes in a different way from how we would explain it to another person. How about this? I'm going to pretend that I'm a robot who will carry out whatever instructions I'm given, and Tara, you're going to be the coder who's programming me. I'm Robot Carly, and I'm here to cook.
I love it, Carly. And as the coder, I'm going to program you to make human Carly's signature pancakes.
Robot Carly understands that humans love this recipe because it's an easy, delicious, and healthy snack.
Let's get started. So in front of you, you'll see a banana, an egg, and some oats. Step 1, mash one banana into a bowl.
Mash banana in bowl.
Oh, wait, Robot Carly, stop. Oops.
Okay, so we're already in trouble. Let's try being a little more specific.
Robot Carly, please remove the peel from the banana. Yes, that banana, perfect.
Peel from banana.
Put the white part of the banana that you have in your hand into the bowl. Pick up a fork. Mash the banana with the fork and not your hand. Perfect, Carly. Now just add an egg to the bowl.
Add egg to bowl.
Oops, sorry, Carly. Gently tap the egg against the side of the bowl until the shell cracks. Empty the contents of the egg into the bowl.
Empty contents.
Now, Robot Carly, whisk the ingredients.
What is whisk? What is ingredients?
The whisk is the plastic thing next to the bowl, and the ingredients are the contents of the bowl. So, Robot Carly, pick up the whisk by the narrow end. Perfect. Place the wide end of it in the bowl. Great. Now, with your other hand, hold the bowl and move the hand with the whisk in a circular direction. Take a half cup measuring cup. Perfect. Place it in the oats and fill that half cup measuring cup with oats. Fantastic. Now add the contents to the bowl. Perfect. Put down the measuring cup. And now again, we're gonna pick up the whisk by the narrow end, place the wide end of it in the bowl, and with your other hand, hold the bowl and move around in a circular direction.
Wait, this sounds like something that you've programmed Robot Carly to do before. And remember, as a good coder, you're lazy. So surely we can reuse that earlier instruction. What if we define that group of instructions as a thing we'll call whisk? In programming, that would be referred to as a function.
A function is a named section of a program that performs a specific task. So function whisk is pick up the whisk by the narrow end, place the wide end in the bowl, and move it in circles. And we can use that function, or call it, as we say in coding, whenever we want to perform that action. So in our pancake demonstration with that incredibly realistic robot, we actually learned several fundamental principles of coding.
Thank you, Tara. Firstly, we have to be very specific with our instructions. A human knows that adding a banana to a recipe also involves peeling that banana. But a computer program wouldn't know that unless you clearly stated it. We also have to define every term. The robot didn't know what a whisk was or what ingredients were because we introduced the concepts without defining them. We had to tell the robot what the ingredients were and the things in the bowl, and then it knew what to do. We also learned that what we may think of as one process is sometimes a series of processes combined. And if we're coding, we have to think about what they are and break them into their components. And when we see a part of a process that's going to be used a lot in the future, we can save ourselves even more time. Remember, guys, think lazy by creating a function that we can call as often as we want. So now you understand a little bit more about how a computer thinks.
Once you've got a bit of practice thinking like a computer, it becomes second nature.
And now that we've actually programmed our robot and we were explicit in every step, thinking like a computer, the next time we want pancakes, all we have to do is kick our feet up and run the program.
Does this mean that Robot Carly is going to make me pancakes anytime I want?
Affirmative.
Check out our next episode where Carly's going to teach me how to walk the runway.
Actually, Tara, we're going to be talking about organizing data. Check it out. Class is over, and you did great. Want to get some extra credit? Hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss a celebrity substitute lesson right here on YouTube.